For the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll go to Philip.
Signs up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Philip. For the Scout Law, we will have Tristan.
A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2.
For the Scout Oath is Gab. Is Gab here?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, he's here. Okay.
Okay, signed up. Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law to help other people. Oh, sorry. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. 2. Sorry.
For the Outdoor Code, we'll have AJ.
Signs up. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in outdoor matters, to be careful of fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation-minded. 2.
Okay, guys, good morning. Missing quite a few people. I hope they show up. I'm going to go down the list of who's here. We've got Jimmy, Philip, AJ, Gab, Jeff, and Tristan. First question I'm going to have, okay, first, traffic safety merit badge. Jimmy, how are you doing?
I have one more page to fill out.
One more page, okay? You've already done your traffic monitoring?
Yes.
Okay. When do you think you'll finish?
Maybe on Sunday or Monday, sir.
Okay. Philip, how are you doing? This is traffic safety, Philip.
I'm doing great. I already did the first day.
Okay, you did. Okay, have you filled out your workbook yet? Okay, you know you have to fill out that 14-page workbook.
Yeah.
Okay. So when do you think you'll finish? Tuesday or so?
I think I'll finish in Tuesday.
Okay, good. All right, AJ and Tristan have completed. Gab, how about you?
Oh yeah, me and my mom will finish it next week because I can't really help with the car. I don't know where's
Right.
the way with the headlights and thingy.
Okay. All right, the
We'll
next
finish it
one.
next week.
I'm sorry. Okay, next week. Okay, now the cutoff for you guys to finish is end of the, let's say 5 o'clock Thursday, because I've got to have a day to finish up the PowerPoint for awards on Saturday. So Thursday at 5 in the afternoon is the cutoff for all of your merit badge working. Okay, pet merit badge. Philip, great job. You finished. How about Jimmy? How are you coming? Are you doing the pet merit badge, Jimmy?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to teach my dog 2 more tricks.
What's the first trick you taught him?
The first trick that I taught her, actually, I taught her how to Sit because she's still a puppy. Well, a big one.
Okay. What
And
kind
she
of, is it, is that a Labrador?
No, it's the Jack Russell, sir.
Oh, Jack Russell. Okay. So you got 2 more tricks to do. You've done the other stuff?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
because they're just hard to teach.
Okay. You know, if you use food, dogs will learn almost anything. Okay. Gab, I don't think you're doing the pet one. Tristan, you're not doing it. All right, the next category we want to talk about is where are you at on physical training? Okay, now Jimmy, last week I put out at the meeting that you missed that instead of running 1 mile, you could swim for 15 minutes, but you also have to do 1 minute of push-ups and 1 minute of sit-ups. So how many days have you completed?
5 or 3.
You- Say that again. Okay, 5. Now you're doing the swim, the sit-ups and the push-ups all at the same time, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Philip, how about you?
4.
4. Are you riding a bicycle or are you running?
I'm riding a bicycle.
Okay, that's good. And you're riding it for 15 minutes? Okay, good. Gab, how about you?
No, I'm still haven't printed. Yeah. It's so,
All right. You need
I
to
don't
get
know.
motivated. You need to get busy, okay?
Yeah. I'll ask him later.
All right. Tristan, how many PE exercises have you got done?
6.
6, okay. And AJ's the same. All right, guys. And the next question on here, I need a photo in uniform of the following people, and all of them are missing today. And the next category is I need a not update from 3 people that are missing today. All right, next slide, please. Okay, this is just a little extra thing I wanted to throw in here so that you guys know about it. Next Wednesday at about 7 o'clock, you can look at the schedule on the next slide. There's going to be a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is when the Earth gets in the way of the light that goes to the moon. And so at about 7 p.m. on next Wednesday evening, you'll see the moon and then you'll see it disappear. And I believe it's going to last about, the whole thing lasts about 3 hours, but you'll just see a little piece of the moon at a time disappear. And it'll completely be disappeared for about 15 minutes at about 7 o'clock. Jimmy, you have something you want to say?
Is there mostly any difference with the lunar eclipse to the solar eclipse?
Yes, Jimmy, I'm glad you asked that question. Because I did some research this morning to figure it out.
Because I never heard of lunar eclipse before.
Okay, a lunar eclipse is when the Earth comes in between the sun and the moon. And all of a sudden, you can't see it's just black in the sky. It comes in between the sun and the Earth. And 1 minute it will be daytime, and the next minute it will be like nighttime, because the Earth blocks, the moon blocks the light coming from the sun. And the next time there'll be a solar eclipse in the Philippines, a total solar eclipse, is in 2042. So they don't happen very often. With the lunar eclipse, they happen every couple years, and that slide before this one shows you the different times, the different dates that there's lunar eclipses in this area. So we'll see one in a few more months. There's one or two next year. I will just tell you my experience with the solar eclipse. I was about the age of you guys when many years ago, and we had a complete solar eclipse where I grew up in the state of Maine in the US. And it was in the morning when it happened, and it went completely dark for about 1 minute. And the amazing thing is, when the darkness finished and it was daylight again, all of the birds were fooled and thought it was morning, and they all started chirping, and like they do when the sun rises in the morning. And it was just surprising to me that the birds are chirping after the solar eclipse. So that's just a side note for you guys. I encourage you to watch the eclipse next Wednesday evening. Okay, Adrian is here. And Joshua. So guys, I gotta ask you the questions I asked everybody else. Adrian, how are you doing on, I don't think you're doing the Pet Merit Badge. How are you doing on physical training, Adrian?
I'm doing good. I did like 6 days now, sir.
Say that again?
6 days.
6 days, okay. Are you working on the Traffic Safety Merit Badge?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing on that?
I did a little of them.
Okay. The cutoff to finish merit badges to be given out this Court of Honor is going to be this coming Thursday at 5 p.m. So if you send it to me after that, it's not going to be on the Court of Honor for Saturday. All right, Joshua, how are you doing on physical training?
Sir, I'm already done with that requirement.
You've already done that requirement. Okay. What merit badges are you working on, Joshua?
I'm working on traffic safety, but I already finished it, sir. I'm just gonna send.
You finished traffic safety?
Yes, sir. I'm just
Okay,
gonna send the requirements.
Okay, make sure you do that today so that if there's something you didn't complete, we can tell you and you can get it finished up, all right?
Okay, sir.
All right, today we're going to be talking about first aid. And the first video that we're going to watch is task 6 alpha on the second class requirements. And in the task, it tells you you're supposed to demonstrate these things. We can't very well demonstrate them with a Zoom meeting. So we'll go ahead and watch this video today. And at some time when we're meeting with each other again, we'll have to go back and you guys will have to actually demonstrate these different tasks. But for today, I want you to just listen and pay attention to the video, and we'll give you credit for it until we come to that time where we can actually do it together. We're going to be watching 4 videos today, and we'll get the first aid requirements for second class out of the way today. So the first one we're going to watch talks about getting an object in the eye, animal bites, puncture wounds, serious burns, heat exhaustion, shock, heat stroke, dehydration, hypothermia, and hyperventilation. Who can tell me what hypothermia is? Anybody? Okay, Jimmy, go ahead.
Hypothermia is like where like you're in a cold place and you have like nothing on and you get frostbite.
Very good, Jimmy. That's exactly right. That's one of the injuries we won't see in the Philippines very often. Okay, this video is 6 minutes. Let's go ahead and watch this, and if you have questions, we'll address those after this first video. We've got 4 videos to watch today, a total of about 20 minutes of videos. So please pay attention, keep your camera on so I know you're there. And here we go.
Second class, Environment 6A. Demonstrate first aid for the following: object in the eye, bite of a warm-blooded animal, puncture wounds from a splinter, nail, and fishhook, serious burns, in other words, partial thickness or second-degree burns, heat exhaustion, shock, heat stroke, dehydration, hypothermia, and hyperventilation. Object in the eye. Step 1. Make sure that they do not rub the eye while there is an object in it. Have them blink if it is possible. Flush the eye with clean water. If this does not work, hold the eyelid over the bottom of the eye to create tears. If none of these things work, cover both eyes with sterile gauze and take them to a hospital. Bite of a warm-blooded animal. Step 1. Wash with soap and water and flush until clean. Step 2. Control bleeding. Use pressure if needed. Step 3. Bandage with a sterile gauze. Step 4. Seek medical attention. Mammals can carry rabies. Do not try to catch a wild animal, but do note the kind of animal it is and its markings. So that way, if the animal is rabid, it can be sought after by the proper authorities. Puncture wounds from a splinter, nail, and fishhook. For a splinter, make sure to sterilize your tweezers either with fire or alcohol. Step 2. Pull the splinter out by grasping it as close to the skin as possible and pulling it out in one solid, gentle motion. Step 3. Run the wound underwater for approximately 5 minutes. Step 4. Apply triple antibiotic ointment and a bandage. Puncture wounds from a nail or large object. Do not try to remove a nail or other large object, as this can cause excessive bleeding. Wash the area and then apply a sterile bandage. Be careful not to push or otherwise move the nail or other large object. Seek medical attention. Puncture wounds from a fishhook. Wrap around 3 feet of fishing line, first around the bend in the hook and then around your fingers. Gently, with the other hand, push down on the eye end of the fish hook. Then give the line a quick jerk to pull it out. Be careful to make sure that nothing or anyone will be in the way of the hook when it comes flying out of the wound. Wash and bandage the wound. Serious partial thickness or second-degree burns. The difference between a first-degree burn and a second-degree burn is the thickness of the burn and usually the presence of blisters on the surface of the skin. First, Place the injured area in cool water or apply wet cloths until the pain lessens. Second, cover with sterile gauze. Do not apply anything to the injury. 3. Do not break any of the blisters. Shock. If you suspect your victim is in shock, in a calm voice, reassure them. Then, call for help. Dial 911 or your local emergency number. Third, treat any hurry cases. 4. If they are not already on the ground, lay them down. 5. If you don't suspect any back or neck injuries, raise their feet approximately 12 inches. And 6. Keep them warm. Monitor them for any signs of other injuries or worsening of their condition. Dehydration, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. These are all types of the same kind of injury. Dehydration is the least serious of these. First, have the person drink water and rest. Get them out of the heat and into either shade or air conditioning. Heat exhaustion. Have the person lie down in a cool place out of the sun. Remove any unneeded clothing. Apply cool cloths to their body. Once they are alert enough, slowly drink water and then treat for dehydration. Heat stroke. Heat stroke is the most dangerous of the heat-related injuries. Call for medical help immediately. Dial 911 or your local emergency number. Have the person lie down in a cool place out of the sun. Remove unneeded clothing. Apply ice packs to their neck, groin, armpits, or, if possible, immerse the person in a pool of cool but not cold water. Cold water can shock them and in some cases kill them. 5. Give them small amounts of water if they are awake. 6. Check on the victim regularly. 7. Be prepared to treat for shock or to do rescue breathing. Hypothermia. First, move them into a shelter in a building if possible, but even a tent or other structure such as that will do. Remove wet clothing, put them in dry clothing, and warm them up. Give warm liquids to drink, but nothing with caffeine. Use warm water bottles wrapped in towels or other clothing in their armpits and groin areas. Make sure they are not so hot that they will burn the skin. Monitor them for any worsening of the condition and give medical attention if needed. Hyperventilation. Hyperventilation is typically not a serious problem, but it can indicate other more serious conditions. First, try to calm the victim down. Encourage them to try to take one slow breath every 5 seconds. Have them breathe through only one nostril. If there is also dizziness or anxiety, call for medical help. This has been Scatter Rob. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for more great videos just like
Okay, guys, that was the first video. We got 3 more to go. Okay, one of the things you were supposed to do when you were a tenderfoot was you were supposed to assemble a first aid kit. that you would take with you camping or on hikes or those kind of activities. AJ brought his first aid kit here. Now his is a little bit more than basic. He's just going to show you what he's got and tell you in a few seconds. Tell us what you've got in there.
Okay. First, we have a thermometer. You see?
Some of these things you don't have to have in your first aid kit. That's a little advanced, the thermometer. You're going to need the basics of bandages and those kind of things, which we talked about in the class. Go ahead, AJ.
Then second of all, we have some medicine. If you have a sore throat, it's better to eat these or swallow these to make your sore throat go away. Then we have some Q-tips, plastic tweezers, betadine,
What do you use the betadine for?
some wound solution, some rope, lots of bandages, bigger bandages, and some alcohol-free wipes and alcohol prep. We have some itchy cream,
These are all good things to have with you when you go camping.
more itchy cream,
Okay, we'll pause AJ right there. We'll continue. Okay, we're going to pause AJ and we'll watch the next video, which is about what hurry cases are, which includes a person that stopped breathing, had a stroke, severe bleeding, or they ate some poison. So let's go ahead and watch this video. It's 5 minutes and 46 seconds.
Second class scout requirement 6B. Show what to do for hurry cases of stopped breathing, stroke, severe bleeding, and ingested poisoning. Stopped breathing. Check for signs of life. Immediately have someone call 911 or your local emergency number. Put your hands in the correct position in the center of their chest. Give 30 hard chest compressions. For adults, about 2 inches. For children, one-handed, about 2 inches. And for infants, about 1.5 inches with the tips of 3 fingers. If you don't suspect a neck or back injury, tip back their head and open their mouth. If possible, use a rescue barrier over their mouth. Then pinch their nose and blow until their chest rises. Give 2 breaths. Repeat compressions and breaths until medical help arrives. Stroke. A stroke is a blockage or damage in an artery to the brain. Treatment is to get the person to a hospital as quickly as possible, so it is important to know the signs. The signs of a stroke you can see as the acronym FAST, F-A-S-T, face, arm, speech, time. Look at their face. Is it drooping, or is one side not able to move at all? Look at their arm. Do they have weakness in one of their arms, especially one closest to the heart? Are they having difficulty speaking? If so, if any of these are true, it's time to call 911. Call your emergency number because speed is of the essence. Severe bleeding. Severe bleeding comes from deep cuts. Usually, it is shown by bright red spurting arterial blood. Immediately call 911 or your emergency number. If possible, put on gloves, but speed is very important in severe bleeding. Use a sterile dressing if possible, but if not, use a clean cloth or whatever is available, including your scout handkerchief or a t-shirt. With the palm of your hand, apply firm pressure directly to the area of the wound. If the wound continues to bleed through the first bandage, add a second bandage on top of the first and continue direct pressure. Add a roller bandage or wind gauze over the bandages in order to put pressure on the wound. Be careful not to cut off circulation. When the injury is on an arm or leg, continue checking every few minutes to see that the fingers and toes are not cold or turning blue. If they do, rewrap the bandage slightly looser. You should be able to put 2 fingers between the bandage and the person's skin. Watch for signs of shock and treat as needed. Monitor the bleeding and continue pressure as long as needed. Ingested poisoning. There are 2 kinds of poisoning, swallowed and inhaled. For swallowed poisoning, if you can find the container of the poison, get it quickly and call 1-800-222-1222. This is the Poison Control Helpline, or dial 911. I suggest you get out your cell phone and immediately put the poison control number in your phone. Follow any instructions that Poison Control or 911 gives you. Do not try to give the person anything by mouth unless instructed by medical personnel. If they do vomit, try to save it in a bowl or bag and take it to the hospital with you. This can help. For inhaled poisoning, check the scene before entering. Do not become a second victim. Most inhaled poisoning is going to be from smoke, but sometimes it can be from invisible sources of poison, such as carbon dioxide. Only enter an area after it has been ventilated or if you have protected air. Move the victim to fresh air as soon as possible. Get medical help. Check for their breathing as often as possible and be prepared to do CPR. This has been Scatter Rob. Like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell.
Okay, let's look now at 5 more items in this first aid kit. Go ahead, AJ.
Cold compress or ice pack. Gloves. Hand sanitizer. You cannot put these on a wound. It's better just to wash off the wound first. Two gauze bandages. And sunscreen.
Okay, sunscreen, that's an important one. Okay, thank you. The next Okay, thank you. The next video that we have is going to tell you what to do on a camp out so that you can reduce the injuries that happen. This is a 4-minute video. Let's go ahead and watch it.
Second class rank requirement 6C. Tell what you can do while on a camp out or hike to prevent or reduce the occurrence of the injuries listed in second class requirements 6A and 6B. Object in the eye. Be careful when setting up camp. Look before moving poles or other long, sharp objects. Be aware of where other scouts are before you move something that might hit them in the face or eye. When hiking, stay on prepared trails and be careful of tree limbs and bushes. Bite of a warm-blooded animal. Camp in prepared campsites. Secure your food, especially at night, and never eat in your tent. Also, make sure that you throw away all trash and move it as far from your camp as possible. Keep your eating areas and your sleeping areas separate. Puncture wounds from a splinter, fish hook, or nail. Splinters and nails. Always use gloves and wear boots and protective gear when using wood tools like axes and knives, or when using hand tools like a hammer. Fish hooks. Always use pliers or a multi-tool to remove the fish hook. Use a net to bring the fish into the boat or onto the dock or shore. This will keep your hands away from the fish hooks. Serious burns. Always maintain a 5-foot circle around the fire clear of debris and other flammable items. Allow only one person to feed and maintain the fire. Keep fire buckets and shovels ready. Use only approved stoves for cooking. Inspect all stoves before hooking them up to the gas and turning them on. Keep stoves on a level and stable surface. Be careful when boiling hot water or using hot grease. Shock. Make sure all scouts are warm in cold weather and cool in hot weather. Have a list of scouts who may have allergic reactions. Have a first aid kit ready for any medical emergencies. Dehydration, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. Make sure scouts carry and drink water, especially in warm weather. Make frequent stops on hot days during hikes or other outdoor activities. Hypothermia. Dress warmly and stay dry. Dress in layers and avoid overheating if doing strenuous activities. As you warm up, remove layers. Eat and drink warm food and drinks. And get out of the cold whenever possible. Hyperventilation. Try to remain calm in any situation. Use the stop method if lost. Another important thing is to make sure that every scout and adult has a yearly medical checkup before camping, especially if you're going into the backcountry. Make sure adult leaders are trained in first aid and CPR, and that there is a well-stocked first aid kit on all outings. And make sure that there is someone trained in wilderness first aid if you are going into the backcountry. This has been Scout Rob. Like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell for more updates so that you
Okay, guys, the last video today is for task 6 Delta and 6 Echo. And it talks about what you do in emergency cases at home, or if you're in the back country, and what do you do if you come upon a vehicle accident. This vehicle is 4 minutes long, last video for today. go ahead and pay attention. Here we go.
Second class rank requirement 6D and 6E. Explain what to do in case of accidents that require emergency response in the home and backcountry. Explain what constitutes an emergency and what information you will need to provide to a responder. Tell how you should respond if you come upon the scene of a vehicular accident. What is an emergency? An emergency is any situation that requires immediate action, not just medical emergencies. What information do you need to gather for emergency responders? The nature of the emergency, the location of it, description of victims and any conditions that they have, the time of the illness or injury, any treatment given, who is with the victim and the level of first aid skills they possess, and contact phone number or phone numbers so that they can get in contact with the people who are helping the victims. What should you do? Keep calm. The most important thing in any emergency situation is to keep yourself and others calm. Assess the situation, see what needs to be done first. This is called triage. Make assignments to others as needed. Send for help. Focus on doing one thing at a time and doing it well. Vehicular accidents. The first and most important thing in a vehicle accident is making the scene safe. Do not make a second victim or a third. Turn off the engine or engines of the vehicle to fall. Secure the parking brakes. Set up cones or flares if you have them in both directions. Do not put yourself or others in danger. Backcountry accidents. Always keep in groups of 4 in the backcountry in case of an accident. That way, you always have at least 2 people that can go and 1 person that can stay with the victim. Have at least 2 wilderness first aid trained adults. And if you must send for help, always send a pair of 2. Never send anyone alone. Home emergency kits. The first thing you need to do when building your home emergency kit is start with a good first aid kit. Then add items onto it, such as flashlight and batteries for the flashlight, a radio or a weather radio, drinking water for at least 3 days, non-perishable food for at least 3 days, and medicines. Drinking water and non-perishable foods should be 3 days times the number of people that you are expecting in your house. Basically, the number of people that are in your family. An emergency plan. Every family should have an emergency plan. Work with your family to develop a plan for an emergency. Plan out escape routes. Draw this on a map of your house. Have escape ladders for second floor rooms if you have any. And designate a meeting place. That way everybody knows where to meet up in case of an emergency. This has been Scouter Rob. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And happy scouting.
Okay, guys, just a reminder. Next Saturday, 9 o'clock, we'll be doing our Court of Honor. And then I'll go ahead and deliver your awards the following Monday morning. So finish any merit badges you're working on by 5 o'clock in the afternoon this coming Thursday and get them reported so that we can do the paperwork, make sure that you've completed all the requirements and get the PowerPoint done for the award ceremony. The following week, we'll be doing our camp out. Saturday afternoon from 4:30 until Sunday morning about 8 or 8:30. And the following week after that, we'll take the day off. We won't have a scout meeting that week. Okay, guys, thank you for paying attention today. Don't forget that we're gonna have to go back and revisit these first aid tasks when we meet again together. Jimmy, if you would, go ahead and do the closing ceremony, please.
Okay, everybody unmute your mic. May the great
Great Scoutmaster
May
of
the
all
great
scouts,
Master of all
May the
scouts
may you good again.
Group
Group 45
Dismiss.
Dismiss.
Woo!
Okay, guys, I forgot. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Anybody, questions, comments? Okay, guys, thank you.